Very good morning to all of you. Myself, Professor Taval Chandrana. As we know that we are on the last phase of particular subject, cyber law and ethic, as well as we can say is that it is a last phase of unit number 3, cyber law and related legislations. Guys, as we discussed so many rules, regulations, different law on our previous 5 different lectures in part of cyber law as well as its different sections according to the different laws. Today is the sixth lecture of unit number 3 and I think it is the second last lecture. So as we know that it is a last unit as per our syllabus concerns, because we are completed all those things, all this unit as per the GTU mentioned syllabus. So guys, we are on the last phase on this particular subject as well as on a particular unit. So before starting a today's lecture, or we can say before starting a sixth lectures of unit number 3, I will just remind you what we discussed in unit number 3, fifth lecture. In our previous lecture, we studied different IT Act with its criminal procedure code. In these particular points, we will discuss a classifications of offenses. In these particular classifications, we will go through these 4 different classifications based on different categories like cognizable and non-cognizable for offenses, bailable and non-bailable offenses, compoundable and non-compoundable offenses, and last one we will discuss warrant case and summons case. As well as we are discussing different Indian Evidence Act sections. Like in this particular concept, we will discuss amendment of Indian Evidence Act 1872. In the part of amendment, we discuss a different 4 sections, as well as we will discuss a relevant act of Banker's Book Evidence Act. In this particular point, we discuss a different 5th or 6 different cases, as well as we discuss some basic terminology about the definition of court, judge, trial, certified copy, as well as we discuss title and extent sections, definition sections in form of company and corporation. Then we later on discuss a banks and banker means. Then we will discuss a banker books, legal proceedings codes, and a section number 4, 5 and 6. So guys, it is our previous lecture. We already gone through those kind of point which are mentions in our previous lectures, as well as if you have found any doubt which I will just mention or which I will just remind you, so please go through this previous lecture. As well as today we will discuss some of the other cyber law which is part of a different cyber crime. So guys, I hope you are enjoying all this lecture and learn something fresh and new topic which we are discussing and throughout these lectures. So for the today's lecture, we will discuss 3 different relevant sections. Start with the Indian Penal Codes, Reserve Bank of Indian Act, and later on we will discuss a law related to employee and internet. So guys, starting with the today's lecture is relevant sections of Indian Penal Code, as well as we will discuss all this different section which is cover up Indian Penal Code. So we'll discuss each and every one. Section 354D. If a man watch a woman's engaging in a private act where a reasonable assumption of privacy is expected by the woman, captures her image and publish it via the online medium, shall be punished with the impositions of minimum 1 year. Means if someone take a pictures of any human beings which is specifically mention a woman's image without his or her private, punishment will be already imposement up to the minimum 1 year. Means if without any prior permission you can take a pictures of any woman, then it is a punishable up to the section 354D. Then later on a different section, it is for of section 354D is talking if a man constantly follow any woman and try to contact her or begin a person integrated with her. Means if you are directly or indirectly talking about or follow someone's woman's or some girls without his or her privacy policy, then also you have punished it about a section 354D. Section 383 is mentions for the punishments of extorting whosoever intentionally and illegally puts a person in a fear to delivering any properties or valuable him. Means if you are torturing mentally for the property point of view, for the money point of view, for any of those things we can extorting of the persons, then it should be come under the section 383. Guys, we will discuss some of the different section which should be covered under the Indian penal codes with a different punishment. Section 379, punishment of theft. Whosoever dishonestly take away the goods or any electronic records illegally from the possessions of its rights full owners without his express. So it is a theft again, any kind of goods, any kind of electronic record, as well as it's under the section 379. Section 406 is punishment of criminal breach of trust. Whosoever misappointed any movable property like a computer, devices, or any electronic device which was entrusted or to him for the lawful purpose. So section 406 is specially mentioned for the punishment of criminal breach of trust. Means who can use our property like computer, mobile phone, any electronics gadget we have storing on those personal data. So if someone can use without any kind of prior permissions or without taking any permissions for using those data, then it should be under the section 406. Section 417, punishment of cheating. Whosoever imposements some other persons which he is not or knowingly substitutes such person and causes wrongful loss to the innocent victim shall be punished. Maybe in some of the case some intermediate person will be take part on those particular case for the any kind of victim, and if of any of the victims we can take a benefit without any knowing those person, then it should be punished under the 417 section. Section 471, using and a genuine of forgot documents or electronic records. Whosoever fraudulently or dishonestly use a genuine any document or electronic records which he knows to be a forgot shall be punished. Means no one can says that I will not use those kind of records if they can use it. Means they can't lie against those kind of records if they can use against any kind of victim. It also be punished against sections 471. Section 500, punishments of defense mention. Whosoever knowingly punish or publish without any justifications or reasonable causes any statement, image or the document on the social platform. Guys, this is the things which we need to remember. If we want to put any things on a social media in form of videos, in form of images, in form of text, if we didn't about what we are posting and if it should be harmful for any of the persons, any group of peoples, any child company, against any of the publishing area or private properties or publicly properties, then it should be punished against a section 50. So before put any kind of content in form of text, audio, video on a social media, first we remember that it should be harmful for other or not. If it is, then don't put any kind of other content on a social media, and also not share anything which already share on a social media. It is also took a part on section 50. Then section 506, punishments of criminal intimidations, where a person threatens other persons to harm his reputation's life or property via an electronic means which induce that persons to commit an illegal act to prevent him doing an act which is legally obligatory on him, shall be punished with the imposements which may be extended to 2 years or the fine or both. Means if you can inform any of the persons with any unknowing or without any kind knowing a personal informations on a phone via mail or anything, then if some person who can doing the illegal activity like a suicides, then you can also be a part of punishment on under section 506, because as per the persons you can absorb all those information without those kind of persons who can delivering some informations and they can not absorbing those information and then take it suicides actions. So if you can informing any kind of informations or informing any informations unknowingly, if they are harmful for his or her life, then it should be also part of section 506 and it should be under the punishments of criminal intimidations. Second thing we will discuss in this particular lecture is Reserve Bank of Indian Act, or we can say a different sections which cover under the RBI Act. Reserve Bank of Indian Act 1934 is the legislative act under the IBI was formed. It should be introduced on 1934. This act along with the Companies Act which was embedded in 1936 were meant to provide a framework for the supervisions of banking firms in India. So all kind of activity which should be happen on the banking transactions, or we can say Companies Act, it should be our under the RBI Act. It should be introduced in 1934. Section 17(1)(7), it is also part of RBI Act 2000, RBI Act 1934. The Act defined the manner in which the RBI can conduct business. The RBI can accept deposit from the central and a state government without interest. So they can provide a money and also accept some money from the business, from the organizations without any kind of interest. It is part of section 17. Section 18 is for the deal with the emergency loan to a bank. Means if a bank have any kind of difficult situation and they can take a loan from any giant business from like Reliance, Amazon and anything, then it should be come under the section 18, but it must be in a form of emergency loan. Section 21 state that the RBI must conduct a banking affairs for the central government and manage a public debates, because all this profit it should be cover up under the all transaction on a financial year 1st April to the 31st March, and it must be disclosed against a public area, so everyone knows what was the actual situations about the particular bank. It may be a private or it may be a government sector. Sections 22 state that only the RBI has the exclusive rights to issue a currency notes in India, because we know that no one can introducing his or her regular currency without a RBI permissions. The only bank in India, RBI, is only have a rights to produce or to introduce a new currency notes on our India. It is only a valid currency mark. Section 24 state that the maximum denominations a note can be a 10,000 rupees. Extent of 10,000 it should be not possible. Section 26 to act desirable the legal tenders character of Indian bank notes, because if someone take a loan and they are not buying some any kind of documents, not providing some legal documents, not provide some legal evidence against those kind of act or those kind of loan, then the RBI is directly rejected those kind of persons, those kind of organizations to provide a loan. They must be provide some character certificate against they recommended a bit about his or her personal characters as well as a organization's profit. Then and then any personal or we can say private or government bank will be provided a loan. Section 28 allow the RBI to form a rules regarding the exchange of damage and imperfect notes. Like someone take a loan and they are not able to pay any installment, then they want to reward something against those kind of not payable installment. It is a rules, or every bank will be generated his or her personal rules against those kind of conditions, means not payable installment. Section 31 state that in Indian only, the RBI or the central government can issue and accept promissory notes that are payable on demands, because it's only and only RBI is provided a legal currency on India, and it is the standard government who can design some standardized rules against all this availability of bank. Section 42.1 says that every scheduled bank must have an average daily balance with the RBI, because every transaction must be maintained with RBI to the other banks. So they have follow some rules. They have maintained a balance with RBI balance, RBI bank balance, and is your personal balance. So if they are not maintaining those kind of transaction schedule, then the RBI always provide a notice against those kind of transactions. And the last things which we are discussing in form of law relating to employed and internet. The internet is essentials for the doing a business, because nowadays everything it should be on an online way or online way, and for the business or for the improvement of business, a business must be on an online form. However, it can also be a great way for the employee to waste a time, causes a security issues, or given your a legal headache, because we know that if we are providing everything on online, they have lots of issues like transaction issues, product frauds, and lots of things against a security concerns also. So the first things which we are discussing in form of law related to employee and internet is internet access rules. So you provide a internet access to someone or all of your employee, you must be followed. In the office environment, it is like all the staff member will need to interact, access, do their jobs. They can't provide any kind of flexibility against searching of internet also. In another situations, such in a factory, only certain staff member will be need internet access. So as per the requirement, provide a right to use the internet on your employed as well as your factorial persons. If you are a IT developers or in kind of those kind of business, without internet it's not possible, then all employee must be have all sufficient right to use internet. But if you are in a productions unit, then no, we will limit some of the users to access those internet. Second thing, using the internet. Encourage the use of appropriate online services like on a private sector. If any of the employee want to use the internet, they must be log in with his or her personal username and passwords. So organization always be watch against what kind of searching you are performing, what kind of use internet you are doing for the personal use or for the organization use. So if you are a user or a legitimate user, then also you need to log in before you using the internet, like a firewall using or firewall logins. Allow employee to access a websites for the business purpose. Provide a staff with the company's email address for the business communications. And online tool and apps can help your staff with the everything from the collaborating to staying focused. Create a list of recommended services. And if some services is blocked for all the employed for the using of internet, then also we can't use those kind of websites in a environmental or in case say a company's environment. Third thing, web browsing. Make it clear that a web should be a mainly used for the business purpose. Sub companies ban personal use also together, like Facebook, Instagram, and also social media. Some companies allow a limited personal use as long as it doesn't affect employed work. Means on some companies they have some specific time like a lunch period or any specific 1 hours. At that time you can use anything what you want on the internet, but those time is for the personal use or for the limited internet use, and rest of day you can't use those kind of websites which should be affected for the personal or the company or harmful data. Many companies recognize that it is hard to define where business use and end a personal use begin, because it is a slightly difference between a personal use and a professional use on the internet. Downloads, it is also a very important thing to remember what kind of downloads we perform on the internet, or what kind of download is denied for us, as well as for the personal informations, as well as for our computer system, and also all those things. Because nowadays download is nothing but to download a specific content, but on the internet there are the lots of viruses are available with directly and indirectly attached with some documents. Downloading files from the internet involves risks which your policies should be aimed to minimize. Means installing virus, checking software and update it regularly. If you can done it, then you can download anything. You are protected on the system. Use security software to block or disable potentially harmful applications. Ban employee from the downloading incorporated files and from the installing software. All software should be installed by an authorized employed sites. Because if you are not downloading from the secure sites, then it should be really harmful for your system, for your organization, and for the rest of all the employees, because virus is very dangerous for all of you. Online purchasing, make all employee aware to of the potential contract liability from the online ordering. Employee should only enter into the contract on the company's behalf if they have a permissible to do so. Means some of the employee have all this right to browsing, to downloading and to online purchasing. But if it is a trusted person, or if he or she become a trusted for the longer period of time with a particular business, it is a good idea to maintain a list of approved supplier from which your business purchase. Because whenever we purchasing something on online platform, then we must be gain some trust against those kind of platform who can provide the online products. If we are not gaining a trust, then can't purchase anything on those kind of platform, because fraud are everywhere. Social networking, guys, this is the most important thing which we are discussing in form of use of internet. Their information's nature may encourage employee to make it democratic comments. For this you may be liable. So social networking is not allowing on the employees or the environment where organizations will provide a business criteria or business working. If your business operates a social networking account, make it particular employee responsible for this. Like nowadays digital marketing is most boosted environment for the business, for the marketing up criteria or marketing strategy. But for that, if someone can handle your or business account on a social networking like Facebook, Instagram and rest of, then you must be provide a legal sticky rules for the use of a social media, for uploading, for downloading and for sharing something on a social networking. It is must be required to provide all these rules who can handle those kind of account with a social networking for the digital marketing. Seventh, your own websites. Use your policy to help make it sure your own website runs smoothly, because if you are using a regularly your own sites, it must be used smoothly. Then and then someone can use our websites. If it is not provide a proper response, then no one can visit our websites. Set out how other employee and any contract will be involved, because who can use those our website, you must be provide a best and easy GUI to access our websites. It is a prior thing against a use of internet also. Implementing your policies, like your employee are like to use the internet frequently outside of work. Some may even be more familiar with the issue than you are. Means you need to provide a strictly follow rules if you want to use the internet on a business environment. Make sure employee sign a copy confirming they have retained it. Next, refer to the policy in your employment contract whenever they can sign employment or job employment on a particular business. They must be signed how to use the internet, what is the limitation use of internet, and if some have any kind of issue regarding the use of internet, then what kind of punishment you have or punishment you are bailable. And the last thing, enforce the policy. Make someone in your business responsible for the enforcing the policy. Typically, your network administrator will be responsible for the routine enforcement. However, a director should take overall responsibility, because if a person you can maintain all those environmental who can use a web browsing, internet downloading, online purchasing, and all of rest of things, someone won't want to monitoring those kind of employee who can use a proper thing or not. If they are not using or they are not following a policies which should be mentioned at the time of sign of job or offering a job, then you must be provide a notice, must be provide a warning mail against those illegal activity or illegal use of internet. So you must be follow those rules, and remember your employee to use how to internet or how to use the internet on a different concept. So guys, this is the thing which we are discussing over the today's lecture. In unit number 3 we will discuss a 3 different concept, starting with the law related, a different concept of Indian penal codes with a different sections. Then we will discuss a relevant sections of RBI Indian Act, and the last we will discuss a law relating employee and use of internet. I hope you are enjoyed, and I hope clear whatever we are discussing in for the today's lecture. Thank you so much.